Hey guys, Lord here, back in with another action figure review. Today, we're wrapping up my looks at the Mythic Legion's Legacies of Mythos. I know, small wave, right? With the almighty Otho. That's right, they finally brought back Otho. Can y'all please shut up about this guy already? Because, spoiler alert, he sucks. No, I'm just kidding. That said, this guy, of course, is brought to us by the fine folks over at Horsemen Studios, who thankfully finally delivered an update of a character that people have been clamoring for, spending stupid, ridiculous amounts of money for. And I'm going to just tell you right now, if you have that old one, good for you. If you don't have that old one, but you got this one, do not waste money on that old one. It is not worth $50,000 anymore. This one mops the floor with it to hell, back, and then back to hell again. Because that old one is just basically the Templar Knight body. Legion Builder Templar Knight, not the cool ones from Necronominus, of course. That is just a Templar Knight Legion Builder with a blue tunic and a very specific head sculpt on it. While it's a good head sculpt, I think this one is probably better, although it does kind of remind me of the dude from Seven Dust Skindred, or my old buddy Dreads1313. Shout out to him from the old Instagram days, but he did leave a comment on my Captain Cold DC Multiverse review this year. Maybe he's watching this video, who knows. But at any rate, I think it's time now that we get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all Otho has to offer in terms of accessories, starting off with a pair of open hands, which he comes packaged with. I already swapped those out for the appropriate hands for holding weapons. Of course, he comes with a pair of hands that do not have the appropriate hands for holding weapons. I think I would have rather just gotten some fists, but whatever. That said, doesn't end there. We got a standard Knight's helmet with a flip-up visor. It's very snug on there. And how this works, you can just pop the front off. And then you're good to go. Allegedly. Oh, no, I can't get that in there. There we go. There we go. This is just a standard trooper helmet. Very soft, like pliable plastic on some of these parts. Not so much the visor, so don't squeeze that. But this little piece in the front, that's a pretty soft piece. And it's also stuck now. What the crap just happened? I guess I didn't get it in there all the way. Son of a bitch. Problem with Mythic Legions, they like to pop apart sometimes. Especially when you're doing a freaking video. There. Now it's staying in place. I imagine with a faceplate in there, it'll probably be a little more snug. But there you go, standard Knight's helmet. But we also get this freaking awesome lion helmet. You open it up, and there's his face in there. Same type of deal. Lion mouth is a separate. It's not a separate piece, but it does go over the face. Not sure if you could put skull face plates in this, but I probably won't do that for Otho here, because I actually really like just the way this lion helmet looks as I drop it on the floor like a total klutz. Sorry, I need sleep. It's late as heck right now, and I've been going back and forth with customer service from outside the country. That said, got ourselves an axe. I can unplug and plug back in. Very reminiscent of the axes of old, with the way it's got the segmented handle, but this is a unique axe from Urza, who we looked at yesterday. We also get standard kind of sword in the scabbard. I don't know why these guys need like double ups on the swords, but those are always nice to have. Then we get this really awesome sword, this giant freaking, I don't know, Dark Souls sword. With a cool lion hilt. Almost tempted to give that to Attila. That would make more sense with him, wouldn't it? But there you go. Then, last but not least, we get a new shield. This front piece does just pull right out. That's what she said. Pops right back in. And you can turn it, so you can actually adjust where the lion face is. And then, like Urza, his shield has these weird clip doodads on it. Again, I'm not sure what that's for. And I'm also unsure as to what this seam is for that is on these clips, and why it is raised on Otho's shield. If we bring in Urza's, it is sunken in on his. I think one might actually be bigger than the other. I think this one is smaller than this one. That's probably what it is. But at any rate, there you go. That is all of Otho's accessories. That said, taking a look at this pretty awesome knight figure. Again, I don't know if I can justify killing this guy and turn him into a skeleton, even if it does work. But he looks frickin' cool as is. This is his unhelmeted head. He doesn't come packaged with this on. He comes packaged with the lion head. But his dreads are on a swivel. They do kind of pop out, so we'll leave those off to look at articulation. I will say one thing. I had to heat the neck up on mine. Something crazy to get that moving. But it works just fine. It moves back and forth. No problem. But it was very tight. So if yours is tight, heat it up. Don't break your stuff. But of course, he's got the ball joint, so you can look up and down and tilt and rotate. You're mostly going to get rotation out of the necks on these, which is fine. I mean, you can get it out of the head, but, you know, the neck is just looser. Shoulders will pop out to the side, back down, forward and back. Single jointed elbow with rotation. Swivel at the gauntlet with swivel hinge. Wrist, of course. Appropriate hinge for holding weapons. Thank you very much. I still feel like I'm gonna be taking partial responsibility for why this line has those, but whatever. We do have some pretty good range in the torso, despite the soft goods, which might have a print on them. I can't tell. You can crunch back, you can crunch forward, you can tilt side to side, you can rotate. It's nice and tight because of those soft goods. So you don't got to worry about that being loose. Hips will kick forward and back like Urza. Really tight hips on this guy. They go in and out. He's got thigh cut. Single jointed knees. With a swivel below the knee. And then he does have a hinge in the foot. With a swivel and a rocker. Ball hinge ankles that will swivel, hinge, and pivot, as I often say. And then he does have peg holes at the bottom of the feet if you want to throw him on a stand, but he stands okay. Now, popping this head off, because we need to put this bad boy on there. I'm going to try and get this ponytail on there first. I will say the ponytail, a lot easier to get on the helmeted head than it is to get on the unhelmeted head. I don't know why that is, but it just is. And then we push down on it. And there he is, rocking his lion helm, looking like a badass. Yeah, this is one of the better knight figures in this line, if you couldn't tell. But one of the things I did not mention in the Urza video is that these guys, while they were up for sale, like in stock sale, not pre-order sale, they did, of course, sell out in a few hours because, well, why wouldn't they? But, you know, back in the day, stuff used to sell out in a few minutes. Now, a few hours, that's like an eternity in an in-stock sale time. So, you know, if you missed out, it's because you were, I don't know, taking a nap or something. You lazy bum. But at any rate, of course, later that same week, it was like mid-September, I want to say, they put them back up for pre-order. Now, of course, that pre-order has probably since passed, if I had to guess. However, if you missed out on the pre-order, you can go back onto one of your favorite retailers and probably get them there. However, the Four Horsemen price I think was $110 for the set. Retailer price probably going to be closer to $120 to $130 for the set. Both Otho and Urzok, of course. There's only 2 figures in this wave, so it's pretty light. I don't mind that. I think going forward, it'll be nice to get waves of 2 figures that are really, really well kitted out, like Otho and Urzok. So, with that being said, I have no idea when the pre-orders will ship, but I imagine soonish after Legion's Con, but who knows? I'm not someone who works for the Four Horsemen. I don't have that information. You can always watch the Four Horsemen O'Clock or Mythic Conversations to get all your Four Horsemen info direct from the horse's mouth. No pun intended. Okay, maybe a little bit. But at any rate, I think it is time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Otho alongside his wave mate, Urzok, who's still my favorite, despite the fact that Otho is freaking loaded with accessories. Urzok is an orc / monster, so therefore he is my favorite. But then we also have the previous version 2 from the army of Legacies, Attila Leonisir himself. Of course, he was in the War of the Aetherblade 2-pack with Gorgo Aetherblade, who I pulled out for the Urzok video from yesterday, which, by the way, check that out if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it if you did, because I love that figure. That figure's awesome. On a scale of 1 to 10, Ultra Uber Omega Bussin'. How about that? But at the end of the day, I'm going to have to say what I said about Gorgo Aetherblade. Very curious if we'll see a version 3 of Attila, because this old knight body pales in comparison to what the Valiant Knight is. And since that's pretty much the standard nowadays, I would not be too terribly surprised if we do get Gorgo and Attila again. I mean, not for nothing, we don't know what's under Gorgo's helmet. He's got a skeleton neck peg, but that doesn't mean squat. Look at Lord Dragul. He had a skeleton neck peg, but a vampire head. So, there you go. Getting these two out of the way. This freaking hammer is so gosh darn big. And that shield sucks. That thing doesn't stay plugged into anything I put it in. That Army of Leodicius shield. Getting in our 2 regulars. Bringing in our 2 regulars. We have the Brother Mandibulus. The Brother Mandibulus. As well as the infamous Kurt 11 Spawn, who is taller, but not towering. You know, if we don't count Otho's crazy dreadlock ponytail thing. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and I think I can wholeheartedly say with 110% confidence that good old Otho version 2 here is definitely one of the very few knights that I might not turn into a skeleton. Mostly because I don't think I can. I don't think his helmet is compatible with the skull face plates we currently have, but Otho on his own is a pretty cool character, and I wouldn't mind displaying him alongside the likes of Atlas and the House of the Noble Bear. I know that might be sacrilege to some of you out there, but my toys, my rules. So, with that being said, I think if you're still trying to get the original, you're insane. And I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.